Man, what's the topic about today?
I got one for y'all because this is one I've been struggling with. So let me make sure I word it properly. Are you doing what you thought you'd be doing 10, 15 years ago? But is that something you want to continue to do? And I'll give you a little bit of background when I say that real quick. I didn't get into IT because I wanted to get into IT. I needed money. You remember I was working in accounting. At the time, I got sick and tired of accounting because I only jumped into accounting, again, just to make some money. So I got into IT. IT seemed to work, so I've been rolling with it. But now I'm 37, and I'm like, man, I don't want to do this. I don't want to keep doing this IT stuff. You know what I'm saying? Well, 45, 50. I only did it just for some money. I didn't do it because it was something I loved, something I had a passion about, something I had some purpose in. So I guess it's around my career as a profession and purpose, but I want to hear what y'all was talking about to start.
I like that.
I want to go with that.
Okay.
You know that?
So, what we're going to talk about is career and where we think we are. Where did we think we was going to be here?
Do we think we were going to be here? But then if the answer to that is no, then the next question that follows after that is, where do we want to be?
Where do we think we should have been by this point?
Oof. Yeah.
That's what makes it, to me, that's what makes it even more, because when you sit and think about it, everybody always thinks, and this is my personal thing right here, because this has been big for me. People base, and me and you talked about this, I think we talked about it too. People base their career choice or their where they should be on a salary by a certain age.
Yep.
And I think for me, I did the military thing, and that was great. And I didn't see myself getting to where I wanted to be in the military,
Right.
but I saw retirement, so I took it.
Sure.
I did what I had to do, I felt like, but I really wanted to do what I wanted to do, which sounds like you saying you did something for money, but that's not what you wanted to do.
Right.
I'm in that boat, but now I'm finally doing something that I enjoy doing. Like I never look forward to a Friday. You know, like people say, thank God it's Friday. I love what I do, and I love that I get to sit and talk to people like y'all all day. Y'all know me sitting in this chair, but I'm relaxing today.
Right.
But it's a difference because I'm stuck in my head thinking I'm just a barber. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Even though I'm a business owner, but when people ask me what I do, I'm like, I'm a barber. And I get people who turn their nose like,
Right.
you know, I'm talking to doctors, I'm talking to lawyers and the kids in school, you know, the schools and kids go to. And it make me always feel like I'm doing less than what I should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
My income is good.
Right.
I'm happy, but then I got what society is telling me where I should, where I feel like I should be, since I'm sitting here rubbing shoulders with people who are clearly, you know, they went to school and got their degrees. But then I'm sitting here thinking, the only thing that makes me not happy in what I'm doing is what society makes me feel like I should be doing.
Yep.
But other than that, I feel like I'm fishing every day.
Right.
But that's my input on it. J Dub, what you got to say about it?
Well, just to let me go for what you were talking about. You shouldn't care. You know what I mean? You shouldn't care, because if you look, you know, put it out there, you get a nice looking house, you know, nice size house, you know, definitely. And you know, you got neighbors over here, you know, doctors, good business people, you know, women and men, you know, doing what they're supposed to do. And then they look at you like, okay, it's a barber. So, me, there was one point in my life where I would worry about what society thinks.
Right.
You know, but it's like now I'm like, I'm going to make y'all go crazy trying to figure out what I did to get here and how I'm able to
Be next to you.
Right, be next to you and just, you know, have, be able to financially survive, financial solvency, being able to be in the same neighborhood, HOAs and all that.
Yep.
But I'm a quote unquote barber, you know, because really, I think, you know, a barber and, you know, even barbers who, you know, are coming in shops and, you know, they're paying their booth rent or whatever. It's still a hustle, long as you saving X amount, you know, as opposed to what's going out. You know, like I'm not where I need to be, you know, but I got a nice title and all that. But you know, I know people, you know, you know, you and I went to school with, you know, who've got a lot more saved, but they're making $15 an hour.
Right.
So really, what is what is like what are we looking at? Like, who cares about the title? At the end of the day, if you're spending less than what's what's going out, right? That's all that matters. At the end of the day, that's what
Well,
I think
go ahead.
I was just gonna say. So I think you hit the nail on the head, but I think what's challenging, what's interesting at least, is this is not a this is a reoccurring theme. I've often said to Tamika, I'm like, you realize we sending our kids to school with children of doctors, lawyers, and in some cases professors. It's kind of like it's an internal stigma that comes from, and I'm probably going to devolve a little bit in my part of this conversation, but I'm going to ask y'all to stick with me here real quick. It's an internal stigma that is forced upon us. I ain't even going to say just from like society and cultural norms, right? Like if you think about it from the time we graduated high school, right? Leading up to that point in which we graduated, what are we told? You got to get out and do something. You got to get out and be something. You got to do this, you got to do that. I recently read an article in which this professor was talking about how schools are killing children's creativity.
I agree with that.
Society is killing children's creativity. Because what we do is we take and say, this is this box and everybody's got to fit in this box. And in order to fit in this box, you have to do these things. And once you fit in this box, this is what it means to be successful. And so this is things like titles. It's things like education. I'm not knocking education. I think it's great. But there are a variety of different types of education. But what do? Well, if you want to be successful, you have to be educated in this manner, in this manner, in this manner. And then we wonder why in today's economy we see this massive gap between laymen or people in service work, carpenters, plumbers, trade work, right?
Yeah, and almost we've fallen off. Keep going.
I think it's because we try to put everyone into this box or fit everyone into this formula that means success, but it ain't meant for everybody. And so we slap these labels on, and then we make and draw comparisons. And
this is the thing, though. What I've noticed since I'm doing this whole business thing, I realized I thought that I was making. I don't think that I'm not making decent money or good money, but we look at like an hourly wage, because even a salaried person, you figure out how much you make hourly.
Right.
Yes, sir.
So we look at what an hourly wage is, and I'm sitting here thinking, well, if you think of some of the worst jobs that you could think of in your mind, I'm not saying they're the worst jobs, but you think of people who do like work with their hands. Like they don't push paper, they don't sit behind a desk, they don't have fancy titles. You'll look at like a plumber, and you'll think, that's a shitty job, being a plumber. I mean, no pun intended, but that is. I'll do that, bro. But what I say is this. It's a shitty job to me until I saw a plumber hit me with an $8,000 bill to come in here and do this plumbing. Right. And I'm sitting here thinking, what is that an hour? That's over $100 an hour. Yeah. It was way more than $100 an hour. Right. I didn't go with him.
Right.
But I'm just sitting here like, I'm in the wrong profession. I should have been, but that's not what I love. So that's
going back to your point.
Chasing the money. Yep. So what I realized is, I thought I loved being in the military. It was things about it that I hated. Well, I didn't say hated, but I really didn't like.
Strongly dislike, right?
Yeah, and I felt like I was making good money while I was doing it. But since I didn't have that passion for it, really, I never excelled like I wanted to. Like I had a career path that I thought, if I get to that, I'll stick with this for the rest of my life, military-wise.
Sure.
But my drive, when it came around to taking tests, trying to get promoted, it wasn't there. I wasn't focused. I didn't care. I just wanted to get by to retirement. Now that I'm doing something that I love, it's like I make more money doing what I love than I did. What I'm saying is, if you find what you love, even if you're a trash man, right? It's somebody in the trash business that makes $1 million a year.
Lastly, broke.
Who exactly? Or the person who invented a trash can, or just went out and made a trash can and worked differently than anybody else. They're in the trash industry, and they found something that they were passionate about, and they thought outside the box. And see, this is when it comes to that creativity that you're talking about. I don't think the schools per se have anything to do with your creativity. in my opinion, I think that school really just has to do with teaching you the basics and the fundamentals. They teach you how to be a good employee. I think that's what they teach you. You got to be here at this time. But the creative side comes from taking the things that you learn and transition, using your creativity to figure out. It just opens a door. Like, I don't know something about taxes, but if I went to school, they would have showed me a book that might have said, this is, tax codes, and I know the name of a tax code book I can go look in.
Right.
So for me, as a business owner, I look at it and I think, I'm a barber, but I ain't barbering like a barber.
Right.
I'm trying to create my own lane, my own space. The way that I work, everybody always told me what I could and I couldn't do. And I said, you're going to have to show me I can't do it. And I started doing it. They told me I couldn't work by appointment. Now, you can't find an appointment.
True.
You should say you can't find an appointment. They told me I couldn't get people to pay me before they came and sat down in the chair. I got people with their credit cards locked on file.
Right.
If they don't show up, I can hit it, but I'm not going to do that. Make sure I say that. But what I'm saying is, it's always going to be a barrier of what somebody says you can't do. And I think school, when you said that kills your creativity, I think that's where we come in.
I'm gonna shoot you that link. I'm gonna shoot to both of y'all so I can listen to it, because the premise behind it was, and I probably got a bit of a personal attachment to it, because I have a child that has an eye condition, my second daughter. It's called, I can't think of the name of it. The long and short of it is, like, when we read left to right, right? And so if you're looking at this book, for her left eye is more dominant than her right eye. Mm-hmm. So when she goes to transition to that next sentence, sometimes she skips. If this is 3 sentences, she'll read that first one, but if she's tired and that eye is really dominant that day, it'll skip this whole middle line and jump to the next.
I do that too.
Right? And that's, what is it, hypo or something. But, so where I'm going with this is I fought with schools, right? And we paying this Catholic school to educate our child. We fought with school because they're like, oh, we think she's ADHD. We think she's ADD, because that's the new thing to term and coin with children.
Right, give them some Adderall. And
right, exactly. And we went and had her tested, not once, not twice, and then it wasn't until we went and had her tested by the Princeton School Board. Princeton came back and was like, no, she's fine. She has an eye condition. And as such, with her eye condition, she falls under these parameters, blah, 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 blah. So the attachment, the reason why I was connected to that message, or to the TED Talk that I had seen, was because this professor's point was, we take, and while our education system today continues to update and revamp, it doesn't address the fact that we all learn in different ways.
Right. That's true.
So we're still teaching kids in this box that was established back in the early 1900s, right? But we know that these kids are evolving. We know that every generation, they're learning differently. Arguably, our children are going to be much better at technology than we could ever dream to be.
Right.
Right? But we can't keep putting them in that same box and expecting them to learn the same way. And when we do, they make mistakes. And what happens when they make mistakes? They get penalized for it. And they may not be penalized in terms of this or retention, but the guy's point is they're penalized because of bad grades. And so systematically what happens when you're penalized? You conform or you fall out. Right. And so the majority of kids are just conforming, and that's what's killing the creativity, is that conforming. And so,
okay, go ahead.
And then extending that into our professions, same deal. When we walked up out of high school, it's like, well, what you gonna do? I don't know what you're going to do. I guess we should go to school, right? Or I guess we should work. And so what did we do? Did we get into the line of work that we wanted to do?
Heck no.
Heck no. What did we do? We conformed, right? We just got, for a while, we was working together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And and so it was like, well, I got to get paper, so let me do what this other brother's doing that's making paper.
Well, see, I agree with you on that. And that's why, to me, I think that the most ridiculous thing is to go to college right after high school when you have no experience in what you want to do.
No idea.
It's sad because most people, look, you said 37.
Yep.
and you sitting here having a discussion right now about if this is the career path that we want to be on.
Bro, 18
and I still
years in
I can't answer that for this right now. Like, this is a goal, but is this it for me? I don't know.
Right.
You don't know, but this is the crazy thing. You want somebody to spend $100,000 to get educated on something that when they go and do for the very first time, or they get halfway through school and start doing, they did 2 years of basic classes, and now they're about to start the actual
coursework.
Yeah, coursework.
Right.
And then that's when they realize, oh, this is not what I want to do. Now you done wasted a half a year. You done did 2 years of basic, and then you go in and you start doing it. You might finish that first year, and you like, this ain't what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So now you turn a 4-year degree into a 5-year degree because you got to make up a year to start a new, and you still don't know if that's what you want to do. And you want somebody to choose right then and there. Like, to me, the best thing for me is I thought I wanted to be an electrician. Mm-hmm. So I went in the military to be an electrician. They put me in generators, so I did a little bit of electrical work, and I did a little bit of mechanical work. I don't like smelling like grease. I don't like smelling like oil, and I don't like smelling like diesel. Right. So mechanical work is out the picture for me. I know that 100%. I got to do other things while I was in there, but I don't even want to be an electrician now. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I like the fact that I know how to change a light switch and do different electrical things, but that ain't for me. I would have never known that, and then I went to school to be an electrician or a mechanic or whatever. I would have wasted I don't know how many thousands of dollars trying to figure out. And I meet people all the time that they jump into something, it's not what they want to do. And they continue to search.
Yeah. And I think...
Go ahead, Fred.
No, go ahead.
Well, personally, I mean, I can go back to, back in like grade school, I thought I was going to be a doctor, but I'm like, wait a minute. I don't like blood. Can't stand blood. Don't even like my own blood. Definitely someone else's blood on me. I can't stand that. I get real squirmish on bodily fluids. So I figured out by junior high, like, this isn't going to be for me, to be quite honest. And, I did the whole go to school, jump into college right after high school.
For one semester.
For what?
One semester for me at Raymond Walton.
Right. Me, it was Cincinnati State. Going down there, and really, I wasn't ready. I wasn't mentally ready. I was doing it because that's what I was supposed to do. You know what I mean? Even how we got into it, it was kind of like, I effed up in school. I didn't apply myself in high school, so my grades, I'm gonna have to go over to Cincinnati State, because that's where I can get into. And then I messed around and flunked out after a semester. It wasn't until I was 28 till I got serious about school. But even before that, I was going through my career, and I was over at former place of employment. Him and I were together at 18 and was at a bank card place, call center place for like 6 years. And I thought that was good money. The benefits were good, but what I was actually making on an hour, was not. But at the time I had no kids. At the time, I was with somebody, and she worked there too. So we're together, we owning this home and trying to survive, and it was decent, but it wasn't enough. And to be quite honest, I was just trying to figure out how I could go up in the organization without a degree. I'm like, I'm gonna go keep bucking this system, keep this. Maybe my hard work is gonna do it. And for me, it didn't work. It didn't work. And then I moved to Cleveland. I did the same thing when I was in Cleveland. Let me go ahead and just hit the ground running, kill it, give them 100%. Come through with the shirt and tie, sometimes suit. Just try to kill them with that because I didn't have a degree. Let me try to do that, and then actually set up good relationships, good networking, and I had to come back home. So I came back down here, started back at the bottom, at a healthcare insurance company, and right back at the bottom. That's 2008. Economy, it's horrible at this time. Had to go right back into the call center, all back at the bottom, making less money than what I was making up at the hospital up in Cleveland. So it was at that point, I started dating my youngest mom, And I was like, all right, well, I got to, at this point, it's sink or swim. Only thing I've been told my whole life is you're not going to make any money unless you get a degree. So I was trying to like fight it, and my quote unquote big sister, she told me, she said, "You too smart to be on these phones. You need to get in school." And from that point, 2009, June of 2009, all the way until September of 2015, I was in school 6 years straight, 2 weeks off for Christmas, and that's it. But I moved from working prior authorizations, then I moved to subject matter expert, then I was supervisor, then I was manager. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, but then I wanted to get out of the call center. So then I had to make less money going from an hourly job because I could get all the overtime. So I went, making 60 with all the overtime to 42, and at that point I'm salaried. So I'm huge hit. But I also knew, moving into business analysis, I could get the training and then leave if they don't want to match it. Sure. So, but again, my whole mind though is to get back to what you said. My whole thought process and my passion was healthcare delivery, the healthcare delivery system, the spectrum, improving the patient journey. It's always been my passion from a young kid. My grandma, she's a nurse, she has an MSN. It's always been something instilled for me because I'm soft as hell when it comes to people. I always want to help people. So especially on both ends of the spectrum, from when you're the elderly to children and all in between, but especially the elderly and the children. I always want to help someone. So again, can't do all the blood and all that stuff. What can I do? I can do the administrative side to help remove barriers for insurance, prior authorization, things of that nature, medical co-payment, all that type of stuff. I can usher in a new way of thinking. And realistically, am I where I want to be? No. I want to be able to do something, at least if not on the city level, on a state level, to where I can influence that. From a healthcare standpoint, it's like we have hoop dreams, and you and I, we had hoop dreams. Had to let that go. But this is kind of my hoop dream, to have that, to be able to kind of change how we do healthcare. It might not necessarily be universal healthcare, but I do agree with it. I love that model.
So let me ask you a question. You call it a hoop dream, and a hoop dream sounds like something that's unrealistic. And what I'm thinking is that goes back. We're gonna go back full circle to the creativity, right? The only reason a hoop dream is because we put a barrier on ourselves, believing that it ain't possible.
Right.
I don't disagree with that at all.
So, and that's us looking at the struggle that we've been through to get to the point that we're at now. Are we willing to keep moving forward with the struggle?
Keep going.
Or do we get content or comfortable and this is good enough? And ain't nobody in this room 40 yet.
True.
The race ain't over.
Right.
It's at least another good 25 years for each person in there. So the energy level in all of us might not be that of a 20-year-old, but the brain power of us has been through more life experience than a 20-year-old. So when we go to hooping, think of Jordan, think of LeBron. When they was in their prime, they was dunking. When they got their mind, they started shooting them threes.
Right.
So now it's just a time where we stop using all our body energy to go further, showing your work ethic. Now you reverse it, you start showing your brain power because you didn't receive all the knowledge that you needed over the past, how many years now?
Well, I've been doing what I've been doing since 01, so 17 years.
And see, me and you talked about this too already. It's the box is really being scared to step out on your brain power and taking your life into
because right now I got a comfortable salary.
Right. I wanted to touch on that. Go ahead.
This is where we're going with this.
You're right.
So you got comfortable.
Yeah.
And this is what keeps you, if you're not happy with the place that you are, but you're comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
These two, they contradict each other.
They do.
You can't be comfortable if you're not happy.
Right.
You can't be happy if you're not comfortable.
Right.
Some people, I like discomfort. Discomfort is what increases my thought process. And I'm gonna give you a perfect example. When we were younger and we went through hard times, I didn't stop living like I wanted to live. I just cut something back. I went to ramen noodles instead of going out to eat. It's like, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get what I want and still not have to go out and get a second job, not do it. You start getting creative. When things get tight, things start to come together up here, and that's what brings that creativity. So for your situation, if you're comfortable with your salary, but you don't like what you're doing, well then all you gotta do is go find another thing to do with the same salary that you're making now. But then you have to think, are you gonna be comfortable in the new job? Because you know how hard you have to work to bring home that salary that you bring home now. The next job, they might want you to work twice as hard for that same salary.
Grass ain't always green.
See, but
Or the water bill's higher.
Or the water bottle.
True.
I think.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I think that's the interesting challenge. Is trying to find that balance. You and I talked about this.
Yeah.
So where I'm at right now, environment's great. Benefits are great. Pay isn't great, but it handles business, right? But at the same time, so right now, 37, fantastic. 45, 47? Like, can I keep up? Going back to your point in terms of work ethic and grinding hard, one of the reasons I was able to get this far is because when other cats had the technical know-how within 3 months, it may have taken me 6 months. But I'm working twice as hard over that 6 months. And so that's where I got that edge. I'm 37 now. I'm not dropping off in terms of work ethic or intelligence, but I am growing. And as you continue to grow, you shouldn't keep doing the same things Saturday, 2 o'clock in the morning, reboot web server, stuff like that, right? And so it becomes, well, damn, I don't want to get into my 40s and my 50s, and I still got to do this stuff, right? And so the question becomes, well, exactly what you just said. How do we make that transition? But I don't want to make that transition so right now I'm in leadership in IT. It's good. But again, I fell into that bucket because I was just trying to get a check. Like, if we're being deadpan honest, the only reason.
the only way to do it.
Right? I was trying to get a check and I just happen to be semi-decent at it. But what do I really want to do? So what you said...
Pretty nice, to be quite honest.
Right. But going back to what you were saying when we first started. You went through the military, right? You went through a variety of electric, carpentry, all types of plumbing, right? But it eventually got you to this.
No.
It didn't get you to this.
I was doing this before I ever went into the military.
Okay.
And I knew I enjoyed it, but I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have no training. I was self-taught.
Okay.
So the military, I thought, okay, from an early age, when everybody was saying they hoop dreams and wanting to be basketball players, doctors, and all this stuff, my sister went into the Army when I was 7 years old.
Okay.
And so I'm sitting here thinking, I'm looking at how she living. You know what I'm saying? Life seems easy. She's got a income. She coming home in a nice car. She's doing all these things that is the equivalent of looking at the dope boy on the corner and thinking, I knew it was stability. I knew it was 3 hots in a cot, whatever you want to call it. I knew it was structure, all the things that I wanted because I didn't have much structure. And I know myself, and I've always known myself. I need to make a commitment in my life in order. That's what motivates me.
Sure.
The fact that I couldn't say I'm not coming in to work today. If I had the ability, if I had the ability to say I ain't going to work today, I very rarely did it. But it was okay to call in. Military don't allow you to do that.
Right.
So it was always that structure, and that gave me an even better work ethic on top of the work ethic that I already had. Now I haven't missed a day of work since I've been cutting hair.
Right.
But the thing is, this is what clicked everything in for me. When I retired from the military, I was gonna use barbering as my fishing. I was gonna catch 20s.
Right.
Catch people walking through the mall and be like, come get a cut.
Right.
And then this is what happened. I found something that I really enjoyed. Like I feel like I had a passion stronger than the people around me when I was in barber school. And when I told my wife I was gonna be a barber, she looked at me like I was a fool. Kind of what put that thought in my head, like what kind of money could a barber possibly make, and what kind of, and I'm not knocking barbers anyway, I'm a barber, I mean, but she kind of made me feel like that was
go back to that stigma.
Yeah, it's gonna go back to that.
With it.
What kind of, so let me explain what happened for me. I got out the military and I thought I was going into retirement, and I was just gonna kick it, cut a couple heads, give me a couple dollars, be done for the day, hanging out the rest of the day. That's what I thought. And then something happened. I got into it and I found out how much I loved it. And then that love plus all the naysayers saying what I can't do, that just kicked my drive into overdrive, because it's like, you saying I can't turn, I feel that if you really want something, it don't matter what it is, you can turn it into a gold mine. It's just how you approach it. So I never planned on being here, owning my own business. I never planned on that. I'm thinking I'm gonna go pay somebody a couple dollars to cut it in one of their chairs. Things started clicking, and I started seeing it's an easier way to do this. Instead of sitting around waiting for somebody to walk in, supply and demand gotta kick in. Right. I limit my time, which makes it harder for people to get in. Now it's either you're gonna fill up these hours that I choose for you to have, or I can sit in the barbershop and wait until Thursday, Friday, and Saturday to cut somebody's head. What happens to Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday? You just sit around and wait for somebody to show up, wasting your time. If we're talking about getting paid by the hour, well, if I ain't making $1,000 until Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, then those other 20 hours I wasted during the week, 24 at least, that drops your hourly rate down. Right. So now I put my hours out. These are the only hours I got. You want them or you don't. If you don't want them, I'm kicking it. But I don't seem to have that problem. People take them. I guess I'm going kind of long roundabout. But what I'm saying is, I didn't expect to be here. This is just the drive, the motivation, the drive, the opportunity. They presented themselves at the same time, and I just was taking advantage of them because they were there, and it's like I'd be a fool not to. Right. So I don't feel like this is it for me. I feel like every day that I meet an accomplishment, I erase that accomplishment and feel like I'm right back at the beginning. Like, this is the beginning for me, and I'm trying to wonder, this is the first building, but is this my last building? How many buildings am I gonna try and do? But this is taking it out of me, and I ain't got the energy to apply the energy that I apply to this building. I can't do this when I'm 45. That's what I know. And that's why I'm saying, if you find that lane that you love, it's gonna be easier. It's gonna be way easier to surpass the salary that you have set in your mind as being comfortable. But the journey to get to that salary is not gonna be comfortable. Right. That's the problem. Right. The discomfort is gonna come, but it only lasts temporarily. And that's why I'm trying to tell people, find that lane that you're comfortable with, and this is the best thing you can do, in my opinion. And I ain't trying to hog the host, but while you're working and you feel like you're comfortable, start doing some of that discomfortable or uncomfortable work now. Yeah. Starting your own side business. That's gonna be uncomfortable. And you sitting here thinking about it like, man, I get off work, all I wanna do is relax. Right. Well, if you're serious about moving yourself forward and having your own control, your own destiny, then you're gonna start taking on some of that uncomfortable work now and being like, when I get home, I still got 5 more hours of work to do on my own business. Right. And then that 5 hours, it'll get easier and easier, and you'll start adding more to your plate. And it's gonna get to be so much on your side that you're gonna be looking at your job and being like, look, I can't be working overtime no more because it's cutting into what I'm doing on the other side. Yeah. Next thing you know, you leaving that job and you working your business full time. Yeah. It's uncomfortable though. It hurt. You don't want to wait till you're 45 or 60 to start.
Right. And that's you guys brought up earlier. Him and I in the corporate world, we especially for being black men, I think we've done very well. And there are naysayers who have looked at us and made comments. We both went to the same high school. They're just looking like we're super Negroes. Like they're looking at us like, I can't believe it. Like, do you know the grind? Do you understand it? Do you understand the sacrifice? But my problem is what you guys were saying. Comfortable salaries. How do you transition? How do you translate? You got to take a leap of faith at some point. Step out on your own. But I think the best thing to do is to start something on the side. Get it, start stirring on that, start putting the grind in like you were saying. And at a certain point, it's like, okay, hey, let's step away.
Right.
We got to do it.
So I'm gonna tell you something, and what you said is true. See, social media has people thinking that what I've been doing has been easy. Because I'm taking pictures and being like, got the floors in, got this going. But nobody, and I try to make sure when I put it on my social media, I try to make sure because I don't want nobody hating me or feeling like they're going to come and take something from me. I want them to see the hard work that I put in. I'm not sleeping. While you're sleeping, I'm working. And so when I get to that comfortable state, which I'm starting to get in that comfortable state now where I'm starting to feel like I can relax.
Trying to coast a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't want to coast.
Right.
And see, that's what I'm saying. Once I get comfortable, my mind get relaxed. But what people don't pay attention to is you got that duck swimming across the water, and he coasting. Look like he's just moving along. But if you look under that water, them legs going 100 miles an hour.
Yes, sir.
And that's what nobody pays attention to. People see your job or how you walking around, but they didn't hear until now that it took you 6 years. But see, it ain't the impressive part.
2 schools for 8 months. But keep going.
This is the thing. The impressive thing ain't the fact that you went to school for 6 years. The hard thing was you saying you only took 2 weeks off a summer. Like, people don't see that. They just look at it like, oh, that brother, he think he all that because he doing this, he doing that. It's like, no, bruh. When you was out living your best life.
Kicking it.
Yeah.
Right.
And see, that's what I'm saying.
Life.
When I was a kid, I had 3 jobs in high school at the same time.
Hey.
I was.
Right.
I wanted something. I wasn't gonna get it, not with them jobs, but
Right.
But it was the fact that I wanted something, and so I kept going to work. I used to skip school just to go to work. My boss told me if I did it again, I was gonna get fired. So that was the best job, $7.25 an hour. Best job I ever had at the time. So
that was good money back then.
Back then, right? I was getting $4.25 working for Thriftway and for Burger King.
Yep.
So I'm sitting there, I'm like, I gotta keep doing it. Now, I look at them now, I didn't move my expectations in life up a little bit, so I need a little bit more. I just feel that we set our own bar. We think that the world is setting it, and that's why I don't, look, I feel that the biggest failure that we can ever do in life
Not doing the damn thing.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
But the biggest failure is looking at your situation, your current situation, and trying to point the blame at somebody else. That's the biggest failure you can do.
I agree.
So that's why when you said, and I'm not trying to go at your statement, but when you said that it's crushing our creativity, it's up to us. It's like self-esteem. It's one of the things, your creativity, you should never allow anybody to control your creativity, your thought process. Now, obviously, schools are going to tell us how to think and how to be.
They are.
But at the same time, it's a box. That don't mean you have to get in it.
But how many of our brothers and sisters do?
Well,
Like, being real, you one of how many African American males own their own business?
And look,
in a red state.
And
Right? So we're talking at this point, I mean, not to get all metaphysical and stuff, but we're talking about a box in a box because we are in southwest Ohio. Right?
in Westchester.
So I get what you're saying, and so I think if I understand you, I don't disagree with what you're saying at all. But if we were just to do like a quick statistic, random as hell, 3 brothers in one room, how many of them have been able to think outside of this process? And part of that is going to be influenced by experiences, right? So you've had yours, we've had ours. But my point is, 2 out of 3 brothers in this room have conformed.
No, that's incorrect. See, 3 out of three brothers in this room have conformed.
Okay.
Because I conformed, right?
Right.
But this is the thing though. One, I want to make a statement. This is the whole reason for this video that we're doing.
Sure.
Because I want to make sure that information gets out to people. So the information gets out to people to think you don't have to think inside of a box. It's not society or the school that makes you think out, that makes you sit inside the box. It's your comfort level that makes you sit inside the box. Society has nothing to do with it except for says, if you can afford this car, you're living good. Mm-hmm. And so now that you're driving this car, you're like, I've arrived. And the problem is, this is the only thing it is. The problem is, once you feel like you've arrived, you're done trying. The day you arrive is the day you die. Mm-hmm. And so we kill our own mindset by setting our comfort level. It's people who have a comfort level of just living in Section 8.
But I would ask you, how did we get to that comfort level? You dig what I'm saying? If you had the opportunity at 18, right? Say for some odd reason, you were blessed with the wisdom and the knowledge that you have now. At 18, you would have had to jump on the game because instead of working as hard as you did, because that's what everybody else was doing. We was all at the grind trying to get that paper, right? Or one thing, I don't know if I ever shared with you, was before I jumped into IT, I tried to get into the Air Force, right? Why? Because my dad was in the Air Force. My dad served in the Navy. My grandfather served in the Army. My uncle served in the Army and Marines, right? So it was like, well, if you're not going to school, after you're not working, you got to go in the military, right? And so, what I'm trying to speak to is, 3 out of 3 brothers conformed. You've found a way to tap into that creativity and that discipline, and to branch into those uncomfortable waters to start doing what you love. Whereas with us right now, I'm gonna tell you right now, what do I love? Spending time with my kids. I love basketball. And I love the Lord, right? But outside of that, like Fred, what do you do? What do you do? You know what I'm saying? What do you do that you love that you can turn and it becomes not necessarily a profession or your career? You just happen to make money as you do it. I don't have an answer for that myself personally.
And see, let me tell you, this is how I look at it. Mm-hmm. I feel that you can turn anything that you love into a way to make money. Mm-hmm. It's just finding the way to do it. Right. Now, I spend time in here talking to other people, and see, this is one reason why I think I'm able to tap into that, because I never walk past a person, and my wife, she gets mad at me about this. I never walk past a person without talking to them. Sure. So everybody and see, that's why barbering works so well for me, because I can trick people into coming in here and talking to me, right, because they want that haircut. Right. It's that trade-off. So I think what I really love is talking. That's why I'm doing these videos. Right. I love talking. I love getting knowledge out. I love getting feedback. And so I'm trying to turn this talking into a show. Not a TV show, but like a YouTube show. And it's coming back to being, this is my real hobby, the video making. This is the hobby. Barbering was the hobby when I wasn't making much money doing it. So I'm saying I'm adding to it. So here we go. Okay. You love spending time with your kids. Go on YouTube and see how many people just make YouTube videos about spending time with their kids. Yeah. They found a way to turn what they love into a business. And that takes no time out of your personal life, because all you're doing is living your personal life for the world to see. Right. So what I'm saying is, it's always a way to do it. Look, it's people on there. You got a 4-year-old, right? Yeah. Go buy him some toys.
He doesn't anymore.
What I'm saying is, one, you start a business, the tax write-off every time you buy him a toy. What would be better than buying toys for your son and being able to write them off as a tax write-off? Right. You start a business. So you go buy a camera, you buy some toys, you take those toys, you're like, son, stand right there and open that toy up. I'm going to sit here and record you. Makes great for home videos for him to look at when he turns 18, 20 years old. Right. And you say, just open that box and tell me what's in it and what you think about it. Let him run with the show. Post them boys on YouTube and watch. People will follow
other people's lives.
Oh my goodness.
Other people's lives.
And I hate that I'm sitting here talking about this, because this is basically what I want people out here to do.
Right. But this is different, because this is generating some thought stimulating conversations.
But what I'm saying is, see, I think the real problem is we spend so much time focused on what we love to do that we don't focus any time on how we can turn what we love to do. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I got a million things that I love to do.
Sure.
And
let me ask you this real quick. When you were just now, it's a little different because you like you said, not necessarily arrived, but you got your nugget. You working on your nugget, right? But let me ask you, like, when you were 18, when you were a younger man, right? The things that you love to do were constantly weighed against the things that you needed to do, right?
Yeah.
And so what ends up happening is we stop chasing what we love or want to do because we got to get to it. Now, to your point, the key to this would be, well, exactly what you said. How can we take at 18, 19 years old what we love to do and be creative enough around that to generate revenue?
Well, see, this is the thing, though.
But it's very difficult to do. So for me, before I got to basketball, I used to love to draw. Love to draw. There's a reason why the term starving artist has existed for centuries. Because them folks don't make money until they just about dead or already dead. And they're doing what they love, but it's very difficult to make that money. So how do we take, exactly what you said, because I agree with you completely. And furthermore, I agree with what you were saying about how we place limitations on ourselves.
We do.
And that's part of that conforming that I was speaking to. But how do we take that? Our time, I'm going to sound stupid when I say this. I'm not saying our time is done, right? Our time isn't done in that sense. But if we're reflecting and we're looking at ourselves and we're talking about breaking that stigma or that system, how do we take and start training our children to think that way at an early age so that they can jump in and
I'll come back to that.
successful?
All right, so let me tell you, I'm gonna give you a little bit of background because maybe the reason why I think differently is because I've been around entrepreneurs most of my life. Okay, so my father owned his own business. Okay. He owned his own business, and I saw him work, and he used to take me to work with him. My mother, she quit working right around when I was 7, 8 years old for the bus system, school system, and she was a bus driver. And then she went into doing like sewing and arts and crafts. She's a woman of many different skills, right? So they were always doing things, and they made it. They made by. We didn't have nothing, but we didn't starve. You know, lights might get cut off every once in a while. But that just made us come closer together. We played board games together when the power went out. Right. You know, the bills not getting paid. But I saw that it was possible to do without having to get aid from the government. And, you could. It wasn't easy. So my whole life, I got to focus on, I want to do what they're doing, but I want to do it better than they did. So I looked at my father and my mother, and I'm like, my father made good money. I didn't realize. Like, think about this. They got divorced when I was 7 years old. So I lost my father in the household, and my older sister moved out the household at the same time. Hard for me. Sure. But he was paying $1,000 a month in child support way back then for one kid. Damn. You know what I'm saying? So he was making good money. Yeah. And all he was a janitor. And I said, you heard how I said that. All he was a janitor. So he owned his own janitorial service. But to know that way back in the 80s, he was able to make that kind of money as a janitor, which in the 80s, $1,000 a month for child support means you had to be at least making $4,000 to $5,000 a month, maybe more. Right. Start. So he was doing very well for himself. He didn't dress like it or drive a car like it, but he was doing well. So I guess what I'm looking at is how you break the cycle is by showing something different. And see, this is where we get boxed in. We look at what our parents do or what other people around us are doing, and then we set what our standard should be. I can't stand when my wife looks at somebody else and says, they got that car, I should be able to drive that car. I know I make more money than they do, I should have that car. That is the wrong statement, because that's what puts you in that bubble of what you feel like you should be doing. I live out here in Westchester, and I'm looking, and I tried to tell my wife, when we pulled up to the house, and she's looking like, we should have had a much bigger house than this. Now, hold on. We could probably, I didn't say probably, we could be in a better looking house than what we in. But the problem is, it's the biggest house we've ever lived in our lives. Nobody in our family has ever lived in a bigger house than we live in.
Right.
But you look at society, and society is like, you can afford more, so why not go for more?
Until it's not good enough, right?
And see, this is the thing though. I know that I have a drive and a desire for other things. So my hobbies. The reason why I don't want a mansion is because I want to be able to afford my hobbies.
Right.
I want to be able to afford my passions, my traveling and stuff. So the house that we in fit well underneath the budget. So we're gonna roll back and say, if you want to break the cycle, then you have to start by you being the person that shows your 4-year-old, you can't show him comfort in your life because then all he's going to achieve for is comfort in his life. My kids tell me, Dad, I want to grow up to be a barber. I'm like, nah, that ain't happening. I'm not saying you can't go cut hair. I ain't saying you can't get your barber's license. But what I'm saying is, don't look at where I'm sitting right now.
Right.
I look comfortable, but you must not have been paying attention either. Just like all these people that's around me, of all the nights that you complain about I wasn't home to tuck you in.
Right.
I went through the military, and they wasn't alive when I was doing all the deployments. That junk was scaring me half to death. So that cost was there. It was just a cost in a different way than the average person does it.
Right.
You got to show discomfort to your kids and show them that you can get through discomfort for your kids to understand. How we show our kids discomfort is they ask for a toy and we tell them, nope, you can't have that.
Right.
That's discomfort. That's uncomfortable for them.
Right.
But what we're really saying is, and we probably said a lot, once you start making the money, you can make the decisions on what you bring at home. And so all they worried about is, I gotta make the money. I gotta make the money so I can get the things that I want.
Because that's what we was talking.
And what you really gotta show them is, look, every time you expect me to spend $10, come with me and let me show you what it takes for me to make that $10 that you want me to spend.
Right.
Let's go outside and cut this grass.
Right.
And he can drag branches.
He does.
You see what I'm
He
saying?
does. I feel what
And
you're
that's what I'm saying. So now it's like, motivate him. You want that toy? You gotta drag branches with me for 2 weeks.
Right.
That's that discomfort. He start realizing he get that $10 like, I don't know if that toy is worth it.
Right. Yeah.
We gotta teach him that way.
Right.
This is any subject can be a deep subject for me, but this subject go deep because the comfort all comes around. But I'm messed up because I said we pulled up to the house and my wife was saying we can have a bigger house, and she's still saying it 2 years later. And I told my wife, I said, look around us. There's people in our neighborhood that are retired or about to retire. And I said, look, we are the youngest couple in this cul-de-sac. The youngest. I said, look at them. Not trying to be funny, but this is the end for them.
Right.
They're retiring. They're starting to look at downsizing their houses. All their kids are out the house.
Right.
I said, we here now. This ain't the end for us. This is the beginning, at least the middle.
Right.
We still can go up.
Right.
They're trying to come down now. This is a good place.
Right.
She can't appreciate that.
Right.
And that's probably like, you look at the people around you, where you live at, and if they either are on the same part, they on par with you, they're above you, or they're below you. You put yourself around people who are above you, you ain't gonna never feel comfortable.
Right.
That's why I'm in Westchester.
Right.
It's a doctor on this side of me, a psychologist on this side of the building, it's a dentist on this side of the building, and an eye doctor next to the dentist.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that's just a barber.
Right.
Can I jump in on that, just a barber?
Well, I say just because I ain't got no 4 to 6 year degree.
I get what you're saying, Sal, but you're not just a barber. One, you're an intelligent brother.
Well,
I mean, real talk. Like you give me gems every time I come in here. Two,
Don't tell him too much, man. He gonna start charging for the gym.
right.
Hey, price is about to go up. I'm a psychologist.
Hey, but you could have been if that's what you wanted to do.
I agree. I think I could.
But even as just a barber, you don't do it the same. You are extremely meticulous, bro. It's all about, and you have your brand that you're working on. It's what you stand by.
Right.
It's what you do. I'm not gonna give the nuggets away the things you do differently. But there are a lot of things that I've noticed that you do that I don't see any other barber doing in the city.
And my sister owned a shop, Rahway, New Jersey, and I've not seen things in her shop that you do here.
And that's what I'm saying.
What you said, sure.
Trying to think outside the box. I do. I care about my brand. I care about my issue. You know, and that's where I'm saying when I say just a barber, I'm saying when somebody asks me what I do on the street, I say I'm a barber. I can say I'm an entrepreneur. I can say all these things, but it sounds like you sugarcoat it. And I say just a barber because I'm trying to dumb it down like people who look at me and say, you're a barber. You're a barber. And I'm proud of being a barber. I don't want to make it seem like I'm not. What I'm saying is I'm just a barber. Like, I want people to look at their profession and be like, I'm proud of it. If you're a plumber, I'm just a plumber. It's not what you're just, it's the pride that you're showing it. It don't matter, and I used to hear this as a kid from older people. If you are going to be a street sweeper, a person, you know, back in the day, they used to have people walk down the street and sweep the streets. Mm-hmm. It's like, you should always be looking at it as being, I'm going to be the best damn street sweeper that there is. I want people, no matter what I do, I want people to know my name. I could be the street sweeper, but I want the mayor to know me. You see what I'm saying? That's what we should be doing in anything that we do. If you go into work and you feel like I'm going just to be comfortable, I'm going just to
get a check,
just to get my check.
Right.
What I'm saying is that check look good, that salary, and this is what really bothers me is because when I go and I let somebody tell me how much I'm worth per hour, they're telling me my worth.
Right.
And so when they say that, $20 an hour sounds good to some people. And it sounds good until you get used to making $20 an hour. Yes. And after about a month to 6 months of clocking in and clocking out, you start looking at it like, I don't feel like going in to work today. But you forgetting, you was happy about that $20 an hour. Now what is it, 25? You need 25 now to get you motivated to go to work? Right. So what I'm saying is, now I'm in the industry, can't nobody tell me what I'm gonna make now. You see what I'm saying? Right. Because I could either change the prices of my haircuts, I could try and do more haircuts per hour, I could try and get more people renting rooms from me. And that's what I'm saying, when you start looking outside that box, you start figuring out, right now, I ain't in your business, but you getting paid what they say you are worth. But if you go out and you start your own business, not saying that you have to do that, but if you go out and you do it, now you saying, and see, this is what's so good about being in your own world, doing your own thing is, since I value my brand so high, I say what I'm worth. Right. And Tommy Hilfiger can do it, Louis Vuitton can do it. They make damn purses and clothes. It ain't no different than a Walmart clothes, but the price is different.
Kanye.
Yes. So for me, that's what I'm saying. Now that the building is full, I'm starting to get comfortable. I ain't working as many hours as I used to work, cutting hair, because I'm getting comfortable, which is a bad thing. But then I done tightened up my schedule so much that people are sitting here. I got clients, and I'm not trying to be funny. I got clients saying, one told me this a long time ago, and that's why I raised my prices the first time. He said, hey man, it's getting too hard to get in with you. You need to raise your prices. If a client come and tell you need to raise your prices because he want to make sure he can get in, well now, people saying it again. You need to raise your prices. Right. So I crunched my time down, I kept my quality the same. Right. And now people tell me, but I'm not about to do that. That don't make sense. I'm just hurting the people that I want to keep in the chair. I'm hurting them. How did I do you? Hey, you need to go ahead, get it every 2 weeks. You brought your family in, and I'm pushing people that I like into my chair because I want to be happy. Sure. Not paid, I want to be happy. I'll get more money the happier that I am because my quality is never going to go down as long as I have people that I love doing the work for in the chair. My quality is going to go down when I feel like I'm getting treated like a workhorse. Hey, bruh, I need a haircut. All right, man, come on up at 10 o'clock. I need a haircut. But as long as it's going like it is, and I got good people getting in the chair, and I can control that now. Right. Now I control it to where new people can't even get in no more. Right. So I make sure.
That's what doctors do.
That's what I'm saying. I make sure that people that I want, hey, bruh, I'm convincing him I want you to be here. You say you love my work. I love having you as a client. I need you to lock in on every week or every 2 weeks.
Right.
You can't do it. All right. It's almost like you're saying when I say that. I know you ain't on every 2 weeks, but a lot of the people who come in, I'm saying you want to go ahead and get it every week or every 2 weeks because everything is booking up, and I want you in the chair.
Right.
When they can't, they say I can't do it. It's like, and at some point, and this is how you protect your brand when you start your own business. In the beginning, you do what you have to until you get to a point where you can do what you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you're doing what you want to, now you can alter your prices, and that weeds out the things you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
The people who used to cause me headaches, now they don't come see me because my price is too high.
Right.
Or they have to book online. And I stood firm on my prices, I lost people. I stood firm on booking online, I lost people. It's okay. The people who didn't want to cooperate, I lost them.
Right.
Now, when you start your business, say you do IT, you'll be much happier doing IT if you're making $200 an hour, I guarantee it.
For sure.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So now it's like, hey, an hour of my service. Man, I'm jumping subjects. I was driving home and I got a lawnmower. I love cutting grass. This dude has a trailer hooked up to the back of his truck, and all he does is drive around to people's houses and sharpens their blades and fix their lawnmowers on the spot. He got a big old trailer he can pull the equipment up in.
Oh man, I wish I would have knew about him before I just dropped my
Right.
I dropped it off too.
That ain't the crazy thing though. I asked him, I said, about how much would it be for you to look at my mower? He said, well, to be honest with you, it's $125 starting plus parts. So I'm sitting here, I'm like, bruh, you just told me that you ain't doing the maintenance.
Right.
You charging me $125 just to show up at my house.
Right.
That just took being a lawn care, like a lawn more maintenance guy to a whole new level.
For sure.
He getting $125 just for showing up at my house.
Right.
Parts and labor ain't included.
Yeah.
So I might spend $300 to get my lawnmower fixed. He didn't try and sell me on it at all because he believed in his brand. He was like, that's what it costs. When people come in here and try and negotiate, how much is a haircut? $25. Back in the day, when I was trying to build up my clientele, they be like, man, you can't do it for, man, come on, man, get in the chair. I'll cut you for 20.
Right.
And they wouldn't even give me a tip. Now I done built myself up to the point where I don't care no more. You come in, it's 25. Oh man, that's too much for me. It's a whole bunch of other barbers in the building. You can go to any of them. Everybody here got different prices.
Right.
What I realize now, and I tell people, I ain't the only barber in the world.
Right.
You can choose anybody you want to. Papa Do's don't come down to McDonald's prices.
Nope.
It's still a cheeseburger.
Yeah. Right. Right.
It's just who's prepared.
I hate to cut it short. I got a 15-year-old to pick up.
You gotta get to the day.
Can I get like?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me one more time.
Go ahead.
You cool with me?
You got it. Yeah, I ain't in a rush.
So
This was good.
you made a statement about things not being good enough. There was a point where I had to have I had to stun them. When I had the max and I had the feet on there.
Right.
Floss and beats banging and all that.
Young boy
This is
stuff.
that young boy stuff. I mean, at a certain point you get to where I had the big boy Titan and you got a decent car now. But you know what I get tickled about? Like it just, makes me like smile. My mama really doesn't drive anymore. She got an old '98 Camry, bumper rusted. Bumper paint faded and everything like that. I know how much money and gas I'm saving by hopping in and running out, and also putting miles on that as opposed to my Honda Pilot. It's like you know what I mean. You're shifted. Your priorities are changing.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about all right. I'm saving wear and tear on my main vehicle. When it's like you're evolving. It's kind of
you evolve.
you know what I mean. It's kind of scary because it's like I'm starting to become more and more like like my father. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then another thing, though, I know we gotta cut it, is I know, I'm at a point too, we both at a point where we really need to really figure out how to move forward as far as own business, starting that up. But on the flip side, everything that you've learned in the corporate world, everything I've learned in the corporate world. For example, confidentiality agreements. I could forward and backward digest, statements of work, all different types of contractual language, from quality, you name it, everything, being able to negotiate $1 million contracts, sitting across from these juggernauts and individuals from these big major corporations, looking them in the eye and letting them know what time it is. I learned that along the way.
Right.
So
that's school.
That is school.
That's definitely school.
But
on OJT.
Exactly. On the job training, dang right. So that's something that I needed to go through to where we take that.
Yes.
And then we can apply that in, our own businesses.
Hey, the best thing you can do is get OJT without somebody knowing you get OJT.
They don't want to give it to you.
They don't want to give it to you.
They don't want to give it to you.
But what you do is you find what you love. Like, I worked in several barbershops before I got my first barbershop.
I can believe that.
I saw what I liked from one person. I used it.
Mm-hmm.
I saw what I didn't like. I flipped it. You see what I'm saying? All those shops and working in the schools and different things like that. And I implemented it because I'm trying to keep everybody else in the business happy because it's in my best interest. If I want my money to keep flowing, to keep everybody happy, both in their own rooms as well as in my chair. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I go above and beyond to do that. But what I would say is, first you say you have to figure out what you love, right? But this is the thing. You're doing what you're good at.
Mm-hmm.
Turn what you're good at into what you love by making it first yours.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Look, your kids, you didn't choose them.
No.
You created them.
Yes, I did.
And guess what you did once you but you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? You didn't choose, you didn't go to a store and say, I want this child right here.
Right.
You got the child that you got and you loved them. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
It's because you created it and it was yours. So what I'm saying is, no matter what you go out and create to make income off of, the fact that you created it, you're gonna love it because it's gonna be your baby. And once you see it go from the first day that you worked on it to where you want it to be, which is never gonna reach where you want it to be. I just want you to know that. Like, there's no end in sight when it's yours. It's only an end in sight when you're looking at somebody else's rank structure in their job.
Right.
The highest you can go is to president or vice president because you're not going to be the owner unless they will it to you or give it to you.
Right.
So they're telling you what your cap is at all times. And the person above you really tells you what your cap is because they can keep you down as long as they want to.
Right.
They can see you trying to excel and they can keep on giving you those horrible jobs that you don't want to do.
Right.
Because they know it pisses you off. Can't nobody piss me off.
Right.
You piss me off, you ain't never getting a haircut again.
Right.
You piss me off, you lose your room.
Right. Right.
It feels good. The only person who can piss me off right now, but it's only until the day that I buy this building, is the person who, if you say, hey, contract null and void, you got to go.
Right.
That will piss me off a little bit. But I'm working my butt off to get to that point where, hey, that deed got my name on it.
Right. True.
You can't stop me here.
I feel you.
Right.
But we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Yeah.
Hey, Fred, it's been real. We got to do this again. I don't know how often y'all brothers can get out here and do it.
Hey,
but
I'm already here every other week.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. You definitely could be here every other week. And I got some people who might be able to come out. But this video turned out, this is going to be probably one of the best ones. The last one, it was too much chaos going on in the room.
Really?
Yeah, because I had people walking in and out at the wrong time and at different times. I was worried in the beginning because we was talking about comic books and everything else. I'm like, man, we have, but y'all brothers is grown.
I didn't even know we were.
I was like that. Hey, no, I know it's about.